Hi, everyone. My name is Dawn. I am your astrologer here on behalf of Astromatrix to talk to you about the upcoming Jupiter transit through the fire sign of Aries. On May the 10th, Jupiter, the planet of luck, abundance, and expansion, the great benefic, moves into the fire sign of Aries. It is leaving the waters of Pisces, the dream world, where it has been all of this year. And now it will move into the sign of Aries through October, when it will retrograde back into Pisces and finish up the year until December. So this is an interesting, very expansive transit time because Jupiter is a 12-year cycle, and Aries rules the sign of our identity, the first house of the zodiac on the astrological wheel. It is the emergence into who we are as a physical person. And so this Jupiter transit moving into Aries kicks off a new personal 12-year cycle of how we express who we are on an individual level. Now, Aries is a rapid fire sign ruled by Mars, the planet of action. This is where we initiate a new type of expression of our identity, perhaps a dream that was initiated during Jupiter's movement through Pisces. Let's remember that Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. Neptune is the modern ruler, and the two of these ancient and modern rulers conjoined on April the 12th, igniting some divine inspiration, some divine intervention of what our higher truth is. Jupiter is the planet that seeks the higher truth. And in the sign of Aries, it's our own personal truth. What is the dream that we want to now initiate? How do we want to see this actualized? And Aries asks us, how passionate are we about this? How driven, how determined, and how much do we really desire this? And are we willing to put in the work to see it come to fruition? Jupiter has the ability to expand a dream that was initiated earlier this year and see it play out, see it be initiated. This is a time where we will see our new leaders emerge. Aries is the frontline initiator. It is the one that gets the job started. And so we will start to see this trend of individual creative projects, expressions, jobs, leaders, and all types of areas throughout our society, our world, and in our personal lives start to emerge during this season. It's when we can show up in our most authentic form, kicking off a new 12-year cycle of this luck, this abundance, this benevolent nature of us showing up for ourselves. And when we show up for ourselves in our highest form, then this has a ripple effect and the whole world benefits from that. And so the last time that Jupiter was transiting through the sign of Aries, because it's a 12-year transit, was 2010, 2011. So if you think back, how did you show up for yourself at that time? What was worth fighting for? What did you initiate? And what have you learned since that time in your life? Now that Jupiter has been inspired by this conjunction to Neptune in Pisces, what new dream are you ready to initiate? If you look to where Aries is in your chart, and Pisces that precedes it, what house does this fall in? And how is this dream going to be expressed now moving forward? These are all the things that we will be focused on between May and October of this year. Jupiter will move into Aries and move only through the first 8 degrees of Aries. So this is the cardinal part of the initiation. This is where we emerge into a new identity. This is a new cycle of who we are based on a dream that has been initiated this year. And Aries is rapid, It is driven and it's ruled by Mars, which is also the planet of war. And so we want to be mindful of this as we move through the rest of these months and then back into Pisces by the end of the year, because in its lower vibration, something to be mindful of, this energy can be reckless. Jupiter expands everything that it touches. So it can expand our ego. If we are not mindful of operating in our higher truth, if we are self-seeking in this transit, then this can come out in an aggressive, reckless, egotistical, self-centered fashion. And so we want to really take a look at our own personal higher truth. What are we trying to express about who we are? And are we operating in the highest vibration of that? Because this could be the planet of war. Now, there are some things worth fighting for. There are some things going to battle for. So this is a time where we can really create some healthy boundaries in our lives, some parameters that allow us to keep our eyes focused on the target that we are trying to accomplish, that we are passionate about, that we are driven. And another interesting aspect of this transit is that during this time of Jupiter swimming through all of this energy in Pisces, this dream world, this ambiguity of sponginess that lacked any kind of form, Venus also was conjoined with Jupiter. Now, Venus and Jupiter are the great benefics, and on the Taurus new moon solar eclipse that we just had on April 30th, Jupiter and Venus were exactly conjoined. And these are the great benefics, the most beneficial planets in our solar system. On May the 2nd, Venus moved into Aries. So Venus is already in Aries, moving through for the whole month of May until May 28th. And then Mars, the planet that rules Aries, moves into Aries on the 29th. So Venus, the lower benefic, has already moved into Aries. And now Jupiter, the greater benefic, moves in on May 10th. So this could be a time of luck and abundance in the area of our lives that Aries occupies, because we have both benefics at play during this transit, especially starting it off through the month of May. It kicks it off in a very positive, beneficial way. We are seeking the higher truth of our own heart's desires. Now, because Aries does rule the sign of our identity, we want to ask ourselves, what is my desire? What goal do I want to accomplish? And am I willing to do the work to see it happen? Am I willing to expand this part of my life for the next 12 years? Whatever is initiated now, whatever foot we start off on, plays out for a long Jupiter cycle. Now, Jupiter moves back into Pisces on October 28th, and it will move through the final degrees of Pisces, the 28th degree and the 29th degree, between October 28th and December of this year. Jupiter will stay in Pisces until December 20th of 2022. And so during this last few months of 2022, when Jupiter regresses back into Pisces and it goes over those final degrees of Pisces, let's remember Pisces rules the 12th house, the final house. And so when Jupiter initiates something during May and October and then moves back into Pisces, we could examine like a final closure of an old dream. We could see what no longer needs to be expressed, and that could be completely removed at this point in order for us to fully actualize the goal that we are working towards as Jupiter moves back into Aries on December 20th of 2022 and stays there through May of 2023. So we will get that final review of what our higher truth really is and what our spiritual beliefs up until this point of our life have operated on. And as Jupiter moves through that last 28 and 29 degrees, that anaretic degree, the 29th degree is the karmic degree of completion And Pisces is the final house and sign of the zodiac. So Aries rules the first house, our identity, and Pisces is the final house, the final sign of the astrological wheel that rules the completion of our identity when our spirits leave the physical body and pass on into the afterlife. And so that this could be a time between October and December where we really let go of some old parts of who we have been up until this point in our lives. And we see that it's time for them to be released, that we no longer need to carry that old identity into this new expression moving forward. This will be a wonderful, innovative time for us individually. And I believe that we will see a lot of creative artists, projects, new businesses, new expressions of personal abundance initiated during May and October. New leaders will certainly come to the front lines during this time. And so we ask ourselves, how can we show up for our own dream, for our own desires, and express this in the most beneficial way possible for ourselves, which in turn allows this to be expressed in the most beneficial way for those around us. And so these are the ways that Jupiter, this great benefic, the planet of the higher truth of our own personal sovereignty, is allowing us to show up in our own individual authority, in our own personal power, in our physicality, and in our passion to work towards our own personal goals. And so I hope that this gives you an area to focus on, some hope, some optimism, some excitement for this very fiery time of Jupiter in Aries. This will be fast, this will be ignited, and this will be expansive. And so how can we expand ourselves in a way that helps us to complete that initial dream? How can we see it come into a tangible, solid form in our personal lives? Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Astromatrix so that you don't miss any important astrological transits or updates as we post them. And thank you so much for letting us be of service.